Josh from the Riot Report. I was wondering what can you do as an offensive coordinator to help your offensive line, specifically?
Look, I think as an offensive coordinator, I think every week you're just looking for ways to, put them in positions to have success. And I think you're just trying to find continuity with those five guys and find out, the more that we can get those guys playing together as, the left tackle, left guard together, right guard, right tackle together, you get a good feel of kind of who you are as an offense. And so I think having Coach Meyer here as the offense line coach, he's been with a lot of those guys before. So just instill confidence just by, the reps that we're getting. But outside of that, and just what we do every single week.
Hey, Coach, this is Stephen Toronto, also from the Riot Report. When ahead of your, I guess you would say, NFL debut this week, people so often tend to focus on your prowess in terms of schematics, designing plays when they talk about you, but that's really only a small part of coaching. What's the difference between being great at schematics and great at coaching? And given the talk around you, do you feel that you have anything to prove when it comes to the nitty-gritty of being an offensive coordinator and coaching players up?
Look, I think the biggest thing is just the relationships. I think it's relationships with your players, with your coaches. I think the schemes are, half the battle. But like I said last week, you want the guys to believe in you, believe in your system. And so I think it's relationships. And from a prove it standpoint, I in my mind, I have my whys. I don't have anybody to prove it for. I want to win for this organization, for our players, for Coach Rule. So that's the most important thing for me.
Joe, on the first, go ahead.
You let me last time. Your turn.
All right, I'll take the floor. Thank you.
Go try.
Joe, you on the first public depth chart anyway, Chris is ahead of Ian at tight end. How do you envision that kind of that rotation looking?
Yeah, I think they both bring different elements to the table, and so in my mind, in our offense we have a lot of starters, and I know in the depth chart everybody has to be listed. There's always a one, but we're going to be calling on a lot of guys, and so especially from that tight end room, and so from whether it's 1, 2, 1A, 1B, they're both got to be ready to contribute.
Joe, it's Miles Simmons from Panthers.com. What are you doing? What do you see as the biggest challenges of the Raiders defense? I mean, especially because you kind of overhauled that linebacker position in the offseason.
Yeah, look, I think the biggest thing, just like ourselves, we're a new offense this year. I know they have the same, head coach, defensive coordinator, but they got a lot of new players, and so they're a new defense. And so just understanding, their different elements and watching the game. Look, they play hard. It's a fun defense to watch on tape and watching how hard they play, and they're getting their athletes. And I think what they did, the acquisitions they did this year, they're getting guys that make plays on the ball. So I think ball security is a premium, and and so at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest thing. We got to end every drive with a kick, and so because I think that's something that they made a point of emphasis on in the draft and in free agency.
Hey, Joe, it's Jason Huber with WFNZ. Yesterday, Matt Rule said it's not really, your offense as it is Teddy's now. Those keys have kind of been handed over. Just, do you agree with that? And if so, what's your take on that?
Absolutely. To me, this offense is Teddy Bridgewater. We're running through Teddy Bridgewater. And so, look, I can call a play and think it's a great play, but if the quarterback doesn't believe it or he doesn't see it in the same light as me, are we going to have success? And so, everything goes through Teddy. Everything goes through him and what he likes, what he feels, how he sees it. And then we're just putting this offense around him. So it is 100% Teddy Bridgewater system.
Hey, Joe. I was wondering for you, you're about to call your first NFL game. Do you let yourself be excited at all or think about it at all? Or are you kind of just focused on what you got to do?
Yeah, it's just another day to me, another game, the next game. And so I know it's, quote unquote, my first NFL offensive coordinator game, but, I had an opportunity to call plays in the national championship. This isn't my first time calling plays. And so to me, it's the next game. It's the most important. And I'm excited for every game. So it's been a while since we've been doing football. So especially this one.
Joe, could you take us through the logistics, I guess, for lack of a better word, in terms of who will be on the headset and like who will be sending the play into Teddy?
I'll be calling the plays for Teddy.
Hey,
Okay,
Joe.
yeah, I realize you're calling the plays. I'm sorry.
No, it'll be going to him too. Sorry, I should have answered that better. Appreciate you.
My fault for that. Hey, Joe. Jonathan Alexander, Shaw Observer. Hope you're doing well. I'm wondering, having known Teddy for a few years now, in your opinion, what makes him special? As a person, as a player.
I feel like I think I've said this many times. If you spend 5 minutes around Teddy Bridgewater, I think it answers the question. I think his presence. I think everybody that's around him. They feel him. I think they love just being around him. He has a personality. He's driven, and he's a great football player. So I know everybody on this football team believes in him. I believe in him. The coaching staff believe in him. And so when you get that from your starting quarterback, and then you see him come out to practice every single day as if it's the Super Bowl, it's fun to be around.
Joe, what makes Corey Littleton so special, I guess, as a linebacker and hard to scheme against?
Yeah, his athleticism, is pops on the film as soon as you turn it on, and he finds ways, around the football. When you have the amount of forced fumbles and fumble recoveries and interceptions, he had two. He found his hands on 2 footballs here in this stadium last year, and so, it's just things in certain football players that they just find ways around the football, and that's something that he has, and so that's why he's one of the best football players at his position in the game, and so it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us going against him this week.
You guys have any more questions for Coach Brady?
I got one. Last time we spoke, you were not able to confirm where you will be located during the game. Are you able to confirm that at this time?
Yeah, I'll be up in the box. Yeah.
Making sure it's all out there.
I'll be up in the box.
And I guess for you, do you get any nerves before games? How do you feel? What's your before game ritual? Is there anything, that you think you'll be feeling going through?
No, I'm not. I don't get very nervous. I brought the term up to you that in the spring, about humble confidence, and so, I think you prepare all week, and then on game day, I think you have to be confident, and you have to, I don't want to say wreak confidence, but I think when your guys see the confidence in you, and we put in a lot of work to have fun, and so I'm very confident on game day, and I just enjoy being around football. And so my pregame routines, they kind of change from year to year, but I generally like to try to run the stadium stairs if I have an opportunity, pregame, if I get to the stadium early enough, then I walk the field. But other than that, I do always send a picture. I always send it. This is my thing. I always do send an "I love you" signed picture to my mother. That's been a tradition back since his high school days. So that's my routines, and I kind of roll with it.
Hey, Coach, I asked Phil Snow this same question, and I'm curious to get your take on it. Which one do you think is more disruptive, interior pressure or edge pressure?
It's just they both present the same issues. I think any type of pressure, in itself, puts a lot of stress on the quarterback. Whether it's coming from the outside and he has to avoid it and step up in the pocket and get out, or it's coming from inside. I think I think they both present enough issues. So without putting a lot of thought into it, I'd like to be no pressure whatsoever. But I think it's week to week, depending on their personnel and kind of who they have. I think I can answer that question a little differently.
Hey, Joe, Phil and Matt both said today that defensively, philosophically, they rotate a bunch of guys. Phil does, especially up front, of course. Wonder what your approach will be rotation-wise with your receivers. You sort of already touched on the tight end.
Yeah, I think if when guys are active, I think everybody has to be prepared to play. And, you know, with the tempo that we play at, you know, I think, you know, everybody has to be ready to, you know, have an impact in the game plan. And so, you know, if they're active, I expect everybody to participate.
All right. I think that'll do it unless, Elena, you got one more?
I always see this is
All right.
my
You're
thing.
good. We'll finish up with you.
Tradition.
It seems like you guys, you know, Dennis may not be available. Just what's your comfortability not having him and having Michael step in?
You know, we kind of have that mentality. Like it's such it's every season, you know, there's always injuries, but in a season like this, you know, I think you're always prepared for, you know, we really don't know what to expect from a week to week basis. And so, you know, Dennis being out, but I have full confidence in Michael. I have full confidence in our offensive line, and, you know, we're not going to blink. We're going to, you know, be ready to go.